Well, if you're looking to see if somebody has got abnormal anteversion, so say it's a child, and say they're 6 years of age, you would expect to see, when you're looking at the rotation, probably slightly more external than internal rotation at the hip joint, because the rotation at the hip joint is an indication of the relative of the position of the head and neck of the femur in relationship to the proximal end of the femur. Yeah, because that's going through. It sounds crazy, but they're going through changes. These bones are plastic and they're going through changes.
That's what I do. Is that right?
Okay. So the key thing with kids is to just what you're actually looking for is if the internal rotation is greater than the external rotation, that can occur, but that's usually linked with an in-toeing type of gait, because it's a transverse plane rotation. So the effect of a transverse plane rotation is the transverse plane position of the feet, yeah? So they're either adducted or abducted, yeah? And basically, the one that you're looking for really is the internal rotation greater than 70 degrees and the external rotation limited. And that suggests you've got a large angle between the head and neck of the femur and the proximal end of the femur. Now the trouble with this is the change in it starts from birth and the change occurs up to 16 years of age. So some people go faster than others, some people go slower than others, and there's no specific set values at specific ages. So to test for this, what you do, there's different ways of testing for it, but this is the one I think that I showed you, is you flex the knee joint. And basically, when you're looking at internal rotation of the hip joint, you abduct, ABD, abduct the leg. Yeah? And this leg you're using as an indication of the rotation at the hip joint, because it's like the fingers of a clock. So for every hour that it moves on the clock face, that's equivalent to 30 degrees. So what you do is you abduct the leg, rest your hand on the opposite or contralateral buttock. Move it as far as you can. You don't want the contralateral buttock to lift off. I can feel it just clipped underneath my hand. If I move it anymore, you'll be able to watch this, you'll be able to see it, yeah? Okay? So you definitely don't want to do that. So basically, you take it as far as you can. You look at where the leg is in relationship to this clock. So this clock is going from, it would be 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So it's I would say it's between 2 and 3. I should look directly, so it's 45 degrees. If it's 70 degrees, or greater than 70 degrees, then it's suggesting that you've got a problem. And then you just check the external rotation by adducting the leg. So you adduct the leg as far as you can, watching that you don't lift the ipsilateral hip off the bench. And if that is limited, say 20 degrees, then greater than 70 and 20 degrees, so greater than 70 internal and 20 degrees external, then you've got a bit of a problem and you need to repair that. Yeah. With this one, again you're using the leg like the pendulum of like the fingers of the clock, and I would say that is roughly between 10 and 11, so I'd say that's 45 degrees. I can just see by looking at it, it just looks about half of the length. You don't have to, I mean you can either eyeball angles or you can't, but the clock's idea is just to get you going. Okay, so that's the hip. Unfortunately you can't actually measure it because you'd have to, you'd probably get an.
And we're not going to be using gonions, is that?
You made it.
Oh no.
You made that. If you tibial torsion, she's already keyed up for it. And you can't measure tibial torsion, and it probably did in the early 19th century, was it? When the body robbers used to rob the bodies. And, dropped it as far back as you can. All for science. So what you have to do is look at malleolar position to do it clinically. And this is, the tibial torsion is a measure of the relative position of the distal aspect, or the inferior aspect of the tibia in relationship to the superior aspect of the tibia. The malleolar position uses the position of the medial and lateral malleoli in relationship to the superior end of the tibia. Yeah. So the trouble is that you've got to do something with this superior end of the tibia, because if, for example, you did that, whatever you measure it with, gravity goniometer or clinical guesstimates, what you're going to get is quite a big external reading, because you're measuring equipment measures it in relationship to your supporting surface. If you did that, you're going to get a big negative reading. Right, so you've somehow got to get your tibial condyles parallel with this supporting surface. And so we do that by looking at the patella, and we place the patella on the frontal plane. Now you might say the patella is on the femur, and you're absolutely right. But by putting the patella on the frontal plane, that's making the femoral condyles parallel with the supporting surface. That's the theory. Then you extend the knee joint, and because the knee joint isn't locked, the tibial condyles are parallel with the supporting surface. Why? What happens if you lock the knee joint? You absolutely take it to its full extension. You do know. You need to go and look it up. Locking mechanism of the knee joint. What happens between the tib and the fib? Tib and the femur, sorry. Oh, I'll tell my boy. You're horrified. You'd absolutely be horrified if you could see this now. Right, okay. And then you either use a gravity goniometer and either put it on the high points of the medial and lateral malleoli, or the middle of the medial and lateral malleoli. And you also need to keep it straight so it doesn't tilt forward or tilt backwards, because if you tilt it forwards or backwards, the gravity goniometer, it alters the reading. So it's got to be at 90 degrees to that supporting surface. And then you read off the value. And in an adult, that should be between 18 and 23. Now, the kids don't reach that adult value, anything between sort of 7 and 10 in the literature. Very specific. So you could expect a value less than that in a kid that was younger than 10. Because they'll all be coming up to being adults, but they won't have made it yet, so to speak. Stay a kid forever, it's usually better.